Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 549 of Geeks in Space. Rare Exports is on deck for tonight. I am Rob Commander Taco Malta, and I am joined today by three of the greatest geeks that you're ever going to meet who are willing to sit and pretend for an hour that they are in low Earth orbit and talk about an awesome movie. I got Rob Roseboom.
That's me.
Chris DeBona.
Hello.
Nate Ostendorp. All right, who chose this movie?
That's me.
It was Rob.
Yep.
It's
It
so
was Rob.
good.
This is
I had never seen this before. I didn't even watch a trailer going into this.
awesome. Yeah, this is one of my
So
favorite
good.
Christmas movies, and I like to tell people about it because I think
Yeah.
more people should have seen this.
And this is definitely one that, just like the two of the people on this call had never seen. This movie is awesome. Everybody should watch this movie. This is one of my all-time favorites. I think I might have said this last week when we were recording and you picked this one. I think I watched this movie 3 times in a row in the same weekend the day I first saw this, because it's just such a weird, delicious slice of style.
It's so good. It's ridiculously good.
So, the guy who did this has done a few other movies too. And he did another movie with the kid in it, which is super weird and also kind of worth watching.
What was it?
You'll have to IMDb. I think the kid's a president, or the president's plane gets shot down or something. There's a cool, weird thing. It's not nearly as good as this. But just to kick one thing off, I love the logo.
Yeah.
But I also like, if you watch the movie, as you're paying attention to the presence of the logo, it never truly finally reveals itself in complete form until the final screen here, where you get the Santa logo and they really just spell it out. And that's just so fun.
Well, it's funny because I thought, so you're at the end, which is disturbing me.
I know. I
Usually
went to
go
the
in
ending
order.
logo.
But you know, it looked to me, because I knew nothing about this movie. So when they showed the original outline without the beard, you know, I thought it looked very Mondoshiwan from The Fifth Element by way of the Dharma Project, and it was just fun. You know, I really enjoyed this. This was really a great movie. You know, it's all on screen, man. They didn't leave anything behind.
Well, and how could they? Because this entire movie is 86 minutes long. It's so short.
No. It's
76.
perfect. It's concise. It doesn't waste anyone's time.
That's true.
Fiddle faddle.
Though my one warning, I mentioned this in chat. The subtitles I don't think are going to be working. Chrome apparently doesn't render them. Maybe there's a plugin or something. But we're gonna have to do this from memory without seeing the dialogue, which is gonna be a little interesting.
Yeah, you know, I've got a copy here, so I can at least go to the same spot and try to get the.
And I just
I won't
brushed
help
up
you
on my
guys,
Finnish.
Oh.
Yeah, really.
Yep.
Excellent.
So, I think go back like 5 seconds. All right, you there. So this is when he hands him the instructions. You still don't know what's going on, but the instructions are things like no swearing, no smoking, like just all things that are bad.
Yep.
You know?
And he tells him, and wash behind your ears.
Wash
And I'm
behind
like,
your
behind your
ears.
ears.
Yeah.
Yep. The rules are great. Is it ginger that they like or don't like? They throw gingerbread cookies at. I don't know if anybody put that in.
oh no, they love gingerbread.
They love ginger.
Yeah, they like
Gingerbread's
gingerbread.
Yep. That's their treats.
That's right. But yeah, this is, again, I didn't really know going in, except that I knew that this was vaguely a Santa story when I first saw it. So it was actually really just lovely to see two little boys do a performance. But what really helps for me, at least, is I'm not necessarily always the most forgiving of child actors, but if they're not speaking English, then I'm not stressing about the nuances of the delivery of the line. I'm just looking at their faces and at their expressions and how their acting chops are.
Well, and here, I mean, they're hiding behind explosives and one has a gun. So what's not to like?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
They're ready.
I mean, Sub-Zero Incorporated Explosives. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's really cool.
All of this whole scene is actually really beautiful. The light
It is.
behind them
It
and
is.
everything. They had to have faked all this. There's no way that they shot all this. This is golden moment sunset
all the
kind of
time.
Yeah, it's really nice. And this cold.
Well, here it's
winter-
more milk jug and lighting, you know.
There you go.
And yeah, it felt so real. It was
So
great,
I watched this with my elder child, and he was quite perplexed at how the children would have cut through this fence, and if that's a thing. Like, that was a big thing for him. And I had a really hard time explaining to him that, when I was a kid, there were fences like that everywhere, and every fence that was like that had a spot somewhere bent up under one end so that kids could crawl underneath it. Like, that's a weird thing that, like, walls are different now, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
everyone respects them. It's really weird.
And you went about and hid all of the, the wire cutters in your household, because guess what? That takes about 3 minutes with a good pair of clips.
For sure. Yeah. I also had to explain to him the snowmobiles and the fact that, yes, I've ridden in these. These are real machines. And in fact, children that age could totally ride a snowmobile when I was a kid.
I really like the snowmobiles. There's some great shots just of vintage snowmobiling, which I think is just fantastic. Partly because in my secret heart of hearts, I would love to see this remade in the UP.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly. So I think my times are a little off. Go to 420.
Were you watching the wrong version?
No.
Or I was.
There. Play this.
You have a grave to rob.
There it is.
We have a grave.
You have a grave to rob. That is wonderful.
When he said that, I was like, I am all in on this movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a cheeseball this guy is.
For sure. Also, I don't know a lot about explosions. I've seen some explosions. I've seen rocket launchers, for crying out loud. But this mound appears to be within visual range of this boy's home. And it seems to me that if they were... Maybe I'm misunderstanding it, but it looks to me like they are setting off constant round-the-clock dynamite for hours on end in order to get out whatever they're getting out. And it just seems like the people who live in this area would be more aware than just this kid.
You'll also notice that it is across a border.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
they're in Russia, technically.
Yeah, they talk about how once you cross that fence, you're in Russia.
Yeah, they say it's not nothing.
And they all know they're up there. Just no one cares except for the kids.
Nobody's brave enough.
Well, so later on, I talk about the explosive yield of what they're doing. It's kind of ridiculous, but we'll get there.
The other thing I guess I want to say is if there was explosions happening, like, let's say within the biking circumference of my when I was this age, I would be there all day, every day, doing nothing but watching the explosions.
Yep. There was a concrete pumper next door, and I swear to God, half the neighborhood came out to watch it. It was Christmas.
Oh yeah,
it's nasty.
Yeah. So this is the point at which I suddenly understood why Rob picked this one, because all of a sudden you see a bunch of illustrations of Santa as a demon and torturing kids, and I was like, oh, now this makes total sense.
Yep.
Why this is his favorite Christmas movie.
It is very Krampus-like.
Yep.
They're super crampy.
Yeah, I don't know, everything about this whole sequence. I mean, this movie, like we said a minute ago, this movie is 76 minutes long. And they managed to cram in a lot.
And like, everything that you're looking at right now gets shown in the movie.
Yeah.
There's no wasted anything, you know?
Yeah.
All right, we're jumping.
There's a lot of old man penis in this movie.
I hope you marked every single dangle.
Nope.
So we can strip through them all. This
just
actually
his
stressed
favorite.
me out.
On you for that. Yeah.
This stressed me out because he was coloring in what appears to me to be a real book. I'm not sure if that's like a photocopy or what, but like, you're damaging books, man.
He was damaging books, and I loved their little next day.
Yep.
It's like,
Days
wow.
till Christmas.
Yeah. I've got my advent calendar out to open.
I love that everyone was setting traps
Yeah.
around
For
town
wolves.
before you know anything about
Yep.
what it's about.
Yep.
Like, pit traps and
The pit trap stuff was really cool in general too, because like later on, the cops and the like he chews them out for it. Like, this is a problem. We know about this. This is so
This is
frequently
an illegal
occurring.
pit trap.
This is so frequently occurring that we don't like it's. There's a lot of it like kind of subtext. Like, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
Did you want me to?
Yeah.
Oh, this is Nate.
this is just a lot of vintage shots of snowmobiles, and I remember when I was a kid, snowmobiles were a lot more common, in the Lower Peninsula than they are now. Like, people used to go snowmobiling through our yard all the time,
For sure.
and it just makes me warm and fuzzy to see people just out on snowmobiles, especially like what are obviously Soviet era technology
Yeah.
Right.
machines. Like, those things will run as long as you pour diesel and oil into them.
Yep. You got it.
The I guess maybe this is just because we're living on the wrong side of the state, but I just don't see snowmobiles anymore. And I mean, as a kid, man, see them all the time. Every now and then, you'd see them go up around your neighborhood.
Yeah.
I like this kid.
He's the bad kid.
Exactly. He is so badass. Like, he's got his rifle, he's got his cigarette,
He's River Phoenix
Asking-
and Stand By Me.
asking his friend's dad for a light. Yep, totally.
Right. And he's like 12.
Yeah.
if that.
And everyone's just like, don't worry about him. He's fine.
That's no big deal.
He'll take care of himself.
Yeah.
This kid actually reminds me. I could probably say his name, but I won't. There was a kid named Dave who lived in my neighborhood, and nobody here has met Dave, but he was the bad kid. The bad kid. One time, Dave took crabs from the nearby creek, or like crawfish or crayfish, and like he lived alone. As far as I could tell, he had no parents, but he was this kid's age. And he took crayfish and he would put them in his living room and put food in the middle and like hit the crayfish with sticks and try to get the crayfish to fight over the food. But he was doing this on his living room floor, and there was no furniture in his house, but there was an infinite supply of 7-Up cans, which the people who live in West Michigan understand that means that he had a parent that worked at the 7-Up family factory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And he looks so much like this kid that every time I saw this kid, I was like, all right, that's Dave.
Maybe after the production, we'll Google him and see what happens.
I didn't tell you his last name, but we can totally do that
Well,
after this phone call.
I'll
Just
say
use-
7-Up Dave, and
From Holland,
Yep,
Michigan.
you narrowed it down.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yep.
it's only half the populace.
There's a lot of Dave. You're not wrong. All right. 1808.
Oh, okay. So they're like, well, how much was all this reindeer worth? And they said 85,000, and they said
Yeah.
plus 22% VAT.
Value
And I was
tax.
just like, this is amazing.
And they brought
First
it
of all,
back.
for those people who don't realize, watching this, all of our dozens of fans, reindeer actually it's pretty tasty. The reindeer I've eaten, it's been actually okay. I like it better than deer. And yeah, that is out of control in Finland.
Yeah, it's reindeer are just caribou on a different continent.
Yeah.
So,
I
tasty.
But I also like then that they literally just change the price at the end of the movie. Spoilers, when they sell their Santas, it's the same price and the same 22% VAT.
Yeah.
That is fun. That is efficient
We'll get there.
storytelling.
We'll get there. We have to have a discussion about the economics of this movie.
I do
but
have some
we'll
questions
get
about
there.
how this is going to work. I don't know if this is my industry.
Yeah.
So I like the fact, he's seen as very juvenile because he's talking to his stuffy, but everything he is saying to his stuffy are observations that everyone else is missing. So I just like the fact that he's kind of like logging, all of his, everything that's happening to his stuff. At this point, I think he says something to the effect of, he was hungry, this time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of movies. I don't know. They're combining two tropes here that I really like. One is sort of the the medical examiner or like the cop, who's got the recording device, or like Twin Peaks, talking into his recorder. That's a thing that we've seen, but it's really charming to see it done with a child. But also then the flip side of this is we have the child who is aware of what the grown-ups aren't, which that isn't that like every kid's movie? Like the kids know the truth.
No, I mean he's figured it out by now. He knows they're digging up Santa Claus. He knows that Santa Claus is a demon. Like
he read the book.
Put the pieces together. Yeah.
He did his reading. He did his homework.
This was just I was just mentioning this thing Nate did. He looks at the reindeer corpse, sees one bare human footprint, and he says he sure was hungry.
Ugh. Oh, I hope I didn't actually put a marker on a couple of things here, but we'll get there. Let's see, 1957. There we go.
Yeah, this is just like they are now vigilantes going on a cross-border raid to make the people, at this mine, quote unquote, pay for, the dead reindeer.
Yeah,
right. Because at this point, they think all the explosions have made Russian wolves cross the border and killed all their reindeer.
Well, they are Russian.
And I'm just like, who takes a 10-year-old to a cross-border, raid for justice?
There are
the same kind of person who lets them have that gun.
That gun, it should throw him back like 10 feet every time he fires the thing, right?
He gets an even bigger one.
It's been a long time since I fired a shotgun, but that doesn't look like a small one.
And he's
there'd be a lot of recoil for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that the kid is with him through all of these shenanigans, this is some awesome parenting, and I wish that I had adventures to take my children on that were this good.
And some of them are sort of purely like he's just at the right place at the right time. This one, he actively goes along on their incursion. And I love this shot right here. I just feel
it's a great shot.
Right.
That could absolutely be taken in northern Michigan.
Yep.
I would have no problem.
I don't know what that team does, but I'm all for it.
Yep.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Yep. And the kid is a contributing member of that team. Like he's not.
Yeah, he's the driver or something.
Yeah.
Everyone else is too shit-faced on cheap beer.
He's sober.
He is the kid who can drive their,
Also, I always think that the 1 second from the right is Nick Frost.
It's totally the Nick Frost role.
I'm like they should recast this movie, but it should be the fourth movie in the Coronado trilogy. It would be
Cornetto,
good. Yeah. I would watch that movie. Let's see.
Like Attack the Block if it was all about Santa Claus?
Right.
Attack the claws. Attack the pole.
Attack the pole. Man, I just thought they really nailed a kid's thinking. He's like, that's it. I'm done with this advent calendar horse crap.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to mention that when I saw this advent calendar and all the shenanigans, I wondered if the talking walnut was in there. I felt like that would maybe he's trying to staple it in there.
God, I love that movie too.
Yeah, that's one I should say we probably shouldn't do that movie, but that might be my other favorite bad Christmas movie. Oh, but I'm not Nate or Chris. Either one of you could choose that.
I love his outfit, because now he's become convinced that there's a wild Santa out killing reindeer and looking for bad children. And that's the outfit he puts on.
I give him mad credit, but also purely from a design standpoint, that is iconic.
Yeah.
That is
It
like
is.
you will recognize that costume, and there's not a lot of costumes in movies that you will like. Oh yeah, that's the Rare Exports kid.
You know, if
I
a kid
also-
showed up like that at my door, I'd give him all the freaking candy.
I also I like that he had his duct taped cardboard over his butt for his spanking sheet.
Right?
Yep.
This kid,
Brilliant.
man. This kid.
Absolutely brilliant.
This is a good little gag too. His finger slips and it unravels his sweater. It's a nice little
yeah.
effect. It's an alarm clock.
It's very clever.
What's the? I don't know if it's apocryphal or not. We were told when we were kids that Native Americans would drink water before battles or something. Is that an apocryphal story that we're told as children? That so that like as an alarm
I've never
system?
been told this.
I've never heard that either. So
That's
I don't
probably some BS that I read in some very inappropriate.
And if they would they have their hands in like a puddle of warm milk or
Right.
something, and
It's
then
camp.
once it gets cold, they have to wake up and go pee or something. I don't know.
No, the story that I was told was that it was a trick for soldiers that you would drink a
Yeah.
lot of water so you wouldn't sleep through the night.
Sure.
And for early battles. But like
I see what you're saying.
yeah, I just remember that story being told. But like I just like that as an alarm system to try to wake you up. But it didn't
No,
work.
it's very there's a lot of little clever notes
Well-
like that in this movie. You know?
And now we just give them methamphetamines.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
It was good enough for Panzer chocolate. It's good enough for now.
It's so good. So here's the thing, because they had visited the shack at the site, and it was empty and deserted. And then we go back, and they're all there working. And I'm like, well, is this scene out of order? Was this scene meant?
no,
to
this
be
is a different
before?
area. This is the warehouse.
I get that, but it's like it's really inconsistent, you know. Like I would have done it a little differently, I guess. So, but yeah, here's your great line, Nate.
Yeah. No, I like the line. You know, F your safety instructions. And then all of a sudden, yeah, it's all over for these guys.
Yeah,
But those were the only guys that spoke English. Now we're really in trouble. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to read
really.
the rest of this movie.
So okay, just let the actually go back 5 seconds.
it's so good what happens. He's like, what?
Yeah, there we go. So
You put a
at the
bear
Roseboom house, Santa was never a thing, right? But one year when I was very young, my older cousin, who still believed in Santa, tried to get me to believe that Santa was real. And I was like, no way, you're a rube. That would never work. But there was like 1% doubt in young Rob's mind. So I remember distinctly asking my dad to build a fire in the fireplace Christmas Eve, and then I added as much wood as I could, just so if Santa did come down my chimney,
He's gonna
he
get
would
it.
have to withstand the burning coals as well. And this scene where he puts the bear trap inside
Yep.
the fireplace just reminds me of my thinking that night and waiting for midnight to see if I would see a boot land into the embers.
Totally.
It actually took me a couple of times to like piece together what all was going
that
on here
was?
because that's so weird. Because like, well, okay, I grew up with snowmobiles in my house in my life, but I did not grow up with bear traps. Nor did I grow
wolf
up.
traps.
Nor did I grow up with the notion that I didn't have a chimney. Like so, none of these things would have crossed my mind. So like, it actually took me a little bit to piece this together.
This is a totally different take on the Home Alone sort of stratagem, right?
Right. Like this kid would have done way better.
Yeah.
Like the whole movie
He
would
would
have
have
like 10
murdered
minutes.
Marv.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been 10
Yeah.
minutes and that's it.
Like, oh, he lost his leg in a bear trap. Oh, like fell in this.
And there we
pit
go.
of steak.
The pig head is missing.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
something took the bait.
And everything about this sequence, man. This is the heart of the movie, and it's worth noting that we didn't put any notes in for like 10 minutes. And I think that that's actually like just telling you how nicely packaged this little package is, and watching, feeling you unwrap it as they reveal all of this stuff. It's fun.
Can you hear the cat meowing?
This again, Nick Frost, right?
Totally Nick Frost.
All right, we got like 5 minutes before the next note, so I'll throw some frames up, and if anybody wants to, they can chime in.
I mean, look at it, just, you flicked past it really fast, but like the guy's feet were covered in soot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything about this movie. They're just like, well, if he's an elf and he's helping out Santa, he should have black feet because of the soot in the chimneys. And it's like, you guys thought of everything.
Well, and they did a good job. They set up the butchering. They set up the tools in there. The grossness of that room. I mean, like they've got a big friggin' bandsaw. I mean, that comes back.
Yeah, because that's like a reindeer slaughterhouse.
Yeah,
yeah, it's an abattoir. So.
All right, and this is I think my note. So they set it up with a line, but they took the sacks, but they left the potatoes.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, man, that's the moment, I guess, where like you'd have to be dumb not to have figured it out at this point. But this is like with the music is like swelling and everything in here. This is a really good moment. They got the dad there with the butcher shirt covered in blood, the apron. I mean,
no, it's a nice shot. Like,
great shot.
Yeah, we're not gonna have any subtitles.
And the dad is all worried that the cop, somehow knows about the elf.
Well, at this point, they just think it's some old man who wandered into their wolf trap and died.
And the cop isn't the least concerned about anything. He's just like, all of this other BS that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like,
what is going on in this town? Are y'all doing drugs?
Are getting stolen. Someone stole a bunch of potato sacks. Like,
maybe go forward 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is where we see there it is. The plant doll. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
weird doll. Yeah. So weird.
That is so creepy.
So creepy, man.
Totally.
This is one of the creepiest things in this movie. Like wicker children that this evil Santa leaves behind.
But I think
how little actual violence and gore is in this movie, this is one of the more disturbing parts.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too that I think, like, it's the little details about this that make it believable. Like, this is something that you could see. Rob, you're into feral children. I know you've read. You used.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. You've always told us stories about feral children, but like this is
Rob
something.
Mowgli.
Yep.
Rosbin.
This is something that you could see, like something that's not like a fully developed human mind doing. Right? Like kidnapping and replacing it. Like this is something like, I don't know, like you see like the crazy people that do this. They make their own dollies and stuff. Like there's a lot of weird tropes connected to that in stories and stuff. And this creeps me the heck out. I loved this part.
Back to Santa.
Yep. This guy, now he's not always human, right? Sometimes he's a model. Or, like, I'm not sure if he's just a really skinny dude, because there's a few shots that I don't think that you can do with as a human. Not sure. Oh, this is you, Rob?
Yeah, so this was earlier in the movie. The little kid had looked through the window, and you saw the Santa, like, smell. Yeah. And now this is the part where he takes out a gingerbread cookie, he's eating it, and you see that the two things that arouse Santa are gingerbread cookies and bad kids.
Children.
Bad boys. Oh. Again, it's these little details that make it believable. Like this, you run a. It's hard to not tip over into Crazy Pants, Looney Tunes child story when you're dealing with all of these, like weird Christmassy sort of things. And this, it works. I feel like I should.
I'd only point out this is our Nick Frost character. The most popular name in Finland is Niklas, and it's also Saint Nicholas. I'm just saying, it's all coming together for me.
All right, it's time for us to produce Call Edgar Wright.
Call Edgar Wright.
Summon Edgar Wright.
Yeah, I just like this whole shot with the slaughterhouse and them
It's so
like
creepy.
kind of crouched together and poking him with a stick. It's like
Yeah, these are a couple of these shots. Like he does not look human, and I don't know if they just got like if it's a model or if it's just a really skinny man or what they did.
Well, I figured they so this was before the Game of Thrones and the White Walkers and all the rest. I figure, this is part of the White Walker sort of pipeline. These old men wandering around naked and hairy. So
see, I just assumed they went and got a couple of White Walkers.
Yeah, well, And have you seen the TV show, the comedy Norseman?
Nope.
No.
It basically opens with like 6 of these guys, and they're about to jump off a cliff and go to, Asgard or whatever. So yeah.
So
it's a very funny show.
We're not gonna have subtitles for this sequence, but I just love this sequence because this kid's like, "I've been bad. You're gonna need to spank me."
Absolutely. He knows now that they've got Santa, so he hands him a switch and is like, "You better spank me. 15 lashes should do."
That should be enough
to
defend
like
me.
He's thought about it.
Yeah.
He's like, "I don't want to be taken by these jerks.
I've done the research.
You got to punish me.
I've done the research." Oh God, that poor kid. But I don't know. It's honest. Oh man.
Yeah.
He smells the kid.
There's a lot of good nostril flares and nostril wiggles that this guy pulls.
This guy does more with his nostrils than most modern actors do with their whole body.
That's right. Nostril acting is an underrated class. It's an elective in acting schools. Most actors don't choose to take nostrils. You okay, Chris? I'm gonna go.
Franny's boyfriend's cat is basically a tornado, a hurricane, a disaster.
I apologize.
He's adorable, but man.
You can go back to where you were like 10 seconds, I think. There we go.
Yeah.
I love this shot.
I love that shot too.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was just like,
Because he's bitten off that guy's ear, and now they have him chained up and tied, hanging from the ceiling,
wrapped up in plastic, just swinging from chains.
But look at the framing of this, right? You've got the pipes, the railings like drawing your eye towards him. You've got the curve, the arcs around him. This is cinematography, man. The way his face is lit, like from the one side, dangling slowly with that stare.
Just looking at the kid,
passing around the gingerbread, just like,
I'm gonna eat that boy.
So creepy.
Kind of flawless.
God, the actor though, I gotta tell you, he nailed the whole creepy elf thing.
Oh, go back to 5312.
Oh, sorry, I think I put one out of order here.
Oh, I put one out of order too. 5308. Yeah. So.
All right, go back there.
Sorry, 5308.
So this. I don't know what Chris's note was, but this is where finally they get on they realize the kid's right, and they get on the radio and they're like, "We have Santa Claus." They want to make a deal with the Americans.
Wouldn't you?
Franny just came over to look in on the cat.
All right. Did we want the 5312 or is this you, Rob?
No, just go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I just said that when he says we have Santa Claus, it's just like I can't imagine not busting out and laughing as an actor in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like, but he carries it. These are some high quality Santa Claus actors.
I just like, if you back up just like 2 seconds here.
Yeah.
Like the jacked up truck with the Santa in a cage on the back. That is especially that shot right there. That I wanted that to be my Zoom background.
It's brilliant,
All right, we're jumping to 57 now.
It's the last door.
It's number 24.
The Advent calendar.
I mean, think of how so wonderfully they tied that together.
It's
great callback.
It's a fairy tale, and I think that's what I think is so cool about this movie is that they've blended horror tropes and children's story and fairy tale together in just such a nice visual way. Mad props to everybody, man. Oh, we got a bunch of odd orders here. All right, we're jumping to an hour 20. I think that's what I had.
Yeah, hour 20 here. That's just the
Hour 20 seconds. Yeah.
You find the Santa nest that they've made, because now you know that isn't Santa. It's one of Santa's elves, and all of Santa's elves have collected all these children to lay in front of Santa, who's still in the big block. And earlier in the movie, they complained that stoves are disappearing, radiators. Anything that can produce heat is all stacked in front of the Santa as they're trying to melt him so that he can punish the children.
And the line I liked was the kid was saying, just, says straight out, they are trying to defrost him.
Yep. From the mouths of babes.
So,
I'm trying to get a shot.
Yeah, this is good. Well, what kills me is like they just pick these things up like they weigh nothing. I'm like, these people are working people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a scene at 102:16 where Pietri or whatever his name is, it's just like it's his hero moment. He's got this is his, Independence Day, 4th of July speech. And he's like, and so what he's saying at this moment is it's either me or Santa, and it's don't I speak, so he says it's either me or Santa. And then go to 102:21. He goes, I suggest Santa. And it's like, this kid, man. He's such a badass,
There's another line he delivers after the helicopter. We'll get to it. That is a favorite of mine too.
It's just great.
So this whole scene where he has to go to the helicopter but throw the gingerbread out to distract the elves.
Smoke bomb.
This totally reminds me of like a Zelda level, right? This would absolutely be a level in a Zelda game where you have to go and break off pieces of gingerbread to keep the evil elves from killing you, so you can get to the Triforce or whatever.
What was the movie, the LARPing documentary? Because I kept thinking lightning bolt.
Oh, I can't remember. It was the name of the game. Right? It started with a D. Can't remember now.
Also, if I do have a complaint, and it's not really a fair one, is that the physics of the helicopter are not right.
Yeah. No.
And somehow that bothers me more than the shenanigans that the child does with the helicopter.
Than a 15-foot tall horned Santa frozen in a block of ice.
Yeah. That bothers me more. But we've talked about this many times. You always get one thing in a movie like this. In this, I believe everything about demon Santas and elves and all that. I'm in. That's your premise.
The poorly CG'd helicopter.
Or the helicopter lifting mass that clearly is beyond what a helicopter should be able to carry.
I think that it wasn't the mass. It was the kid holding on the whole time. There's no way that kid would be splattered against the ground. And like the way it swung was weird. That's what I thought you meant.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I think all of this, the helicopter is not top-notch animation.
At 6:47, there's a particularly egregious part where go ahead, do your note.
Oh, I just wanted to, at this moment, my kid actually is like, what is happening here? And I am, at this point, doing like finger tapping together because this is dynamite and we are clearly boring into ice and sticking dynamite into giant Santa ice. And this made me very happy. But again, things that my kids don't necessarily recognize. This isn't an obvious visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably want to push those sticks a little bit further.
All
the way inside.
Well, if they go too far in, they're going to tickle him. And then he'll break out and kill them.
So I love these scenes where they pan down and you see there's just hordes of Santa's helpers running through the forest naked, chasing this helicopter.
Those were great.
So there's a moment at Nate's got one, and then 7 seconds after his.
47, yeah. This is where so that right there where the kids are swinging outward at about a 60-degree
Yeah.
Off a vertical angle, and I'm just like, those kids are mush.
Yeah.
Like,
and the ones that
doing
aren't
at
are
least-
all barfing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, this is 30,000 pounds of baby. I mean, I don't know.
Well, and
It's a lot for carrying around a
those are
helicopter.
some big kids there, dude. But
there's
No, it's
like
like
100 kids,
3,000.
right?
mostly, I think
Oh, it's
these
like
kids
30.
were probably mostly all taken during the night. So they're in burlap sacks with pajamas. Just think of the wind chill of being up that high, going that fast. I mean, they're all frozen.
Now, granted,
This is-
the kids in the middle are pretty warm. It's the
That's
outside kids that are going to have some freeze.
Yeah, if you're going to be kidnapped by
frostbite.
Santa's elves, you want to make sure you're on the inside of the pile.
They haven't worked out the thing that the emperor penguins figured out in the penguin movies, where like you got to take turns being on the
Where they
edge.
rotate. Yeah.
So go to 54, 106.54. And just hit play. It's like, so I'm just like, Falcor, yeah.
Yep.
You know, I was just like, this is his never-ending story
Yeah.
moment. It's
And
like,
this is the only spot where the special effects don't hold up. But
Totally.
yeah,
Whatever.
but it's worth it.
it's really
just worth
fun.
it, you know, it's so funny.
And here they come.
You can actually skip my next one at 109, but Zen's got one at 108.03.
I do like that we come back to this cage that they set up in the beginning with the electrified fence. It's again economic and fun.
So again, my time's a little bit off, but this is also another thing that I wanted to point out, because here is where he gives my other favorite speech. He's like, I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go down and get the Santas inside. Tell my father what I've done. you know? He's just like, he's a man. He's going to take care of it.
That's a good kid.
And he just does the leap of faith. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy, can you hear me?
Takes as long to skip 1 second as it does to actually play a second.
And what he's saying right there is, I'm not coming back.
That's right.
Yep.
I'm just this level of awesome.
This kid is insane.
Here we go.
Hi, Daddy, can you hear me?
And look, he falls like 30 feet.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
At least.
seriously.
That's serious.
And lands on wires.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't really notice the duct tape cardboard thing until the scene where he's climbing down on that. I was like, that's funny.
Yep. Set it up. All right. So
Here they come.
we probably should figure out how to fast forward through some of these next shots because there's a lot of wiener.
So my next stop is 113.01. But I don't know if y'all want to talk about anything in between.
I kind of want to see the truck with the Santa horns in it, because I really,
That was
I
really funny.
enjoyed that.
Is that
They
did we skip
kept
that one or is that
trophies.
one your last one?
I think that is back like 107.50 maybe. Try that. Sorry.
If you remember
'cause
that,
as
then
they're
I'm gonna
pulling
be
away,
impressed.
No.
as they're pulling away, so it's
Oh, that's
it's
108.50.
during
I'm looking
this,
at.
yeah.
Well, I'll zip through. We'll see it right there. Here we go.
There
There
you
it
go.
It is. Yeah.
There it is.
I
So
love that shot too.
Yeah.
Like,
before they explode Santa, they cut off his horns and put him in the back of the truck.
Yep.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the antlers, you know. You got
Yeah.
I mean, they're hunters. They know the
they're
deal.
trophy.
They
It's
know the
trophy.
deal. Plus, I don't know if you're aware, but if rhino horn can do things for your
Yeah, who
maleness,
knows?
imagine what Santa horn would do. All right, we're on the other side now.
16 miljoonaa. 800 000.
Really well lit.
22%.
All of these.
Yeah.
All these.
Yeah.
scenes,
So
man.
I only said this is they're talking about all the money they're going to make from this, and I'm like, is there like, because I hadn't seen the rest of the movie, and I was like, is there a Santa slavery exchange, an elf board of trade?
Yep.
Are they selling elf futures? What exactly is happening here?
Exactly what you would
pays-
expect.
Who pays 85,000 plus VAT for an elf?
here we go.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, they're selling to the same people who are hunting down, E.T. or something. I don't know.
So yeah, this movie lives and dies by its coda. I think that this sequence just solidifies everything about
It's
this
so
movie.
silly.
No.
Like, this movie would be a fine movie, but this sequence makes this movie a masterpiece.
Totally. I
absolutely love the Santa training.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Santa training is hilarious.
And
No eating.
They're rolling him past, holding his kid,
Yep.
touching, like,
Yep. This one's a good one.
Oh, nice. Yep.
See, this is how you treat children.
Yep.
You don't eat them.
They're nice.
You don't replace them with hair.
There's one that there's one that drops his fake child when they give him a present, and they're like, no. They bring the kid back. No, you have to keep holding the child. There he is.
Yep.
They reprimand him and pick up the child. You hold the child and the present.
That's the important part. And then
go back. Just go back like 5 seconds, maybe. Oh, another 5. I just want to get to the point where you see him a little bit further, maybe.
I like that as well. That you
Just
there,
hit play. There you go.
Just hit play.
They also end here with the revelation of the final logo.
There it is.
Yep. I like that you just throw them in a box. They don't,
Yeah, there's no packing material.
Just sell them. Live cargo, it says.
Yep. And the best logo that you will ever see.
Yeah, so this movie is based on... This is the only part of the movie... While I love this at the end, I think it's for sure the cherry on top of the cake. I wish they did a little bit better job explaining what they do with these Santas, because the short movies that it's based on, it's just about those 3 guys who hunt clauses, train them, and then sell them to malls in the United States. And that's how they make their money. They sell mall Santas, wild mall Santas.
Funny. Wild, rare mall Santas.
It's a great shot too.
Yep.
For sure.
And they closed it off with "From the Lands of the Original Santa Claus." Thank you, Rob. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, mine too. Glad I got to share it.
It was so exciting to see a new movie that's awesome. I thank you.
It's rare. It's rare that something sneaks out from this era in particular. Like, every now and then we find something from the 70s or 80s that's like surprisingly good, but there's a lot of stuff that's not very good in the 2000s. Like, I think production has become so easy.
Honestly, man, I think if they just made a version of this that was even just dubbed, more people would know about this.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's a great movie.
It is absolutely one of my all-time favorites.
Thank you, Mr. Roseboom or Maldo, whoever gave us.
It was the good Rob that gave this one to you.
It was the good Rob.
But now it is the time where Nate Ostendorp has to tell us
Mr.
what Christmas Christmas movie we're gonna watch next week.
Really? Is it up to me? I thought
it's your pick.
Yeah,
Rob.
It's your pick now.
Is it my pick? Because I'll do it.
Remember, I kind of got mixed up because I was
Team
unable to do stuff.
No, there are only 2 movies we have. They Live in the Thing. So it's whoever picked Angel Heart is next.
No, I picked Angel Heart.
Picked Angel
The
Heart.
Thing was Nate's.
All right, we're out of
They
order.
Live was Chris.
The tabs
I
are
was
we were
Rare
swapped.
Exports.
All right, guys. I know what I'm gonna pick, and
What you
I'm
gonna
afraid
pick?
that I'm gonna make some enemies.
What else is new?
You guys probably know this, but I watch every single year for Christmas. I watch the Star Wars Holiday Christmas Special, and this time I would really like to watch it with you guys.
You mean the Life Day one?
Yeah, it is the best Christmas movie.
All right.
It's not though. It's abusive.
Yep.
What did we do to you?
This is good. I watch this every single year. And we got to make sure that we find the same version, and we got to make sure that we find a version that has the commercials still embedded from the 80s, because that makes this whole experience way better. There's like commercials embedded for like, we love working for GM. And they sing like their GM song and stuff. Like, it's this crazy snapshot of the 70s. And then it's got like Jefferson Starship in it.
As the Cantina Band.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Sure.
I'll dig up a copy, or we can pull the copy that I have off. I think there's also one on YouTube. But I'll find with you guys the right one to watch.
Wow.
I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
it's within your right as the movie picker.
It is
his right. It's true.
Yeah, the other choice was better, but not better.
Short Circuit.
No, it's Christmas, man. It had to probably be Gremlins. I don't know.
I like Gremlins.
I do too, but I like this more. All right, let's say goodbye.
You're Batman.
I am the worst of men. Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
We have Santa.
We've got him. Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
If I have to choose between me or Santa, I choose Santa.
Goodbye, Nate.
One of us has to go, or whatever he said.
He was hungry.
Oh, there's a lot of static coming out of somebody's mic.
Nate.
All right, well, this has been episode 549 of Geeks in Space. I've been Rob Commander Taco Malda. Thanks for watching, and thanks for learning about rare exports. You should watch it if you haven't. You aren't watching this. What am I kidding?